want to say a word about the Policy School and the Dukakis Center and about Data Day, and then I'm going to turn it over to others who are have been more involved than I have. Like every university and school of public policy in the country, we here at Northeastern do a lot of research, and we do a lot of education, and I hope today that many of you will get an opportunity to meet our wonderful students. Our policy school is really focused on training graduate students who are going to work in local and state government and at nonprofit organizations and really make a difference. And so they've been very active in helping put this day together, and they're around today to answer any questions and help you out. But one thing that I think separates our School of Public Policy from others is a commitment to really engaging on policy issues, not just studying them, not just teaching them, but really engaging on them. And when we do it in partnership with a lot of wonderful organizations, including the Metropolitan Area Planning Council and the Boston Foundation. And one of the reasons that we focus so much on engagement is that we're not in the business of doing policy for the sake of understanding policy. We're in the business of making change. And that's what Data Day is about, too. The most important part of the name isn't the Data Day, but it's the subtitle, which is really about driving change by making data available, more widely available to folks. And that's what I think is really important. There are other ways we engage with the community, and one of the things, if you have a great time today and you ever want to come back and visit us again and see what else we do, one of the other opportunities I would encourage you to take advantage of is, for 6 years now, we've run a program called the Open Classroom. The Policy School has run a program called the Open Classroom. It's an actual graduate seminar. The students in it are getting credit. We opened it to the public. This past semester, we had hundreds of people on campus for a semester-long course on climate change, challenges, and solution. This coming fall, 3 faculty members, including John Auerbach, the former public health commissioner for the state and for the city of Boston, are doing a course called Policy for a Healthy America. And it's Wednesday night. So hopefully you'll have a great day today here at Northeastern, and you'll come back and visit us again for the Open Classroom or our other projects. I'm going to turn the podium over now to Mark Drazen, the head of the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. The Dukakis Center collaborates on a seemingly daily basis with the Metropolitan Area Planning Council because we really do share this commitment to helping make people more empowered. Data Day is really, at the end of the day, not about data, and it's actually about you. It's about giving you the tools to find data, analyze data, present data, and then use that data to make change for the better in your communities. That's what we're about. That's what MAPC is about. That's what the Boston Foundation's Indicators Project's about, and that's what Data Day's about. So have a great Data Day, and here's Mark.
Stephanie, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here at the Dukakis Center at Northeastern University, which is the traditional venue. It's been long enough now that I can say it's a traditional venue for Data Day. And it's wonderful to be here and see the room so full. This is a big room, and as a former politician, I endlessly worry about large rooms because I always say you should have a small room with an overflow crowd rather than a large room with any empty chairs. But we have hardly any empty chairs. There are a few up front in the usual way of such matters. The back seems completely full. The front still has some chairs. So if you're walking in or lingering or you'd like to be closer, please come up. There are some seats in the front. Our collaboration with Northeastern University, and particularly with the Dukakis Center, is just fabulous. We work particularly in recent years on the issues of transportation finance, equitable transit-oriented development, and ways to encourage people to be able to get from place A to place B, to enjoy their lives, to earn a living, to be educated without having to worry about the transportation part of it. We truly believe that the economy and the quality of life in a region is deeply affected by the quality of the transportation system and by the equitable nature of that transportation system. And that is precisely the corner of the work that we've been doing with Stephanie and with the Dukakis Center. And we're really hopeful that in the course of the next couple of weeks, there will be one benefit that spins off from that effort, which has been assisted by so many of you and the institutions you represent, to pass a comprehensive transportation finance bill with a serious focus on transit in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It looks like we are maybe just a few days away from that accomplishment. And by the way, anyone who is even thinking of having someone get up and lecture and inform people about that process, just automatically speed dial Stephanie. I'm not sure there's anyone else that they speed dial these days because she's everywhere showing her wonderful work. Our collaboration with Northeastern is one of our critical partnerships, but another really critical partnership is the one that we have had for many years with the Boston Foundation and with the Boston Indicators Project. And I'd like to talk about that for a moment if I could. The Boston Foundation has for many years been a thought leader and an opinion leader in addition to a foundation on a whole variety of critical issues. And one of those issues, which I was just reminded of yesterday as I was on the way home listening to the radio, was the importance of data in making sensible public policy decisions and in deciding upon the expenditure of public funds. You might have heard about a report that's been put out by two recent alumni, former managers of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. One a Democrat from the early years of the Dukakis administration, Peter Orszag, and one a Republican from the prior Bush administration. And what they have been able to agree upon is that one of the difficulties with government programs is the fact that so few of them are based on an actual assessment of data, either as a determinant of need, as a determinant of program design, or as a measurement of whether or not the program actually succeeds. Sometimes we feel in our lives that we are awash in data, but the amount of data we have available is not necessarily consistent with whether or not we use that data to make decisions. One of the great accomplishments that's really been led by the Boston Foundation and by its Indicators Project is to channel the data, to put it together in a comprehensible form, to make sure that people are able to access that data, and always to encourage those who are either advocating for public policy change or actually making public policy decisions to look at the numbers, ask what they mean, and inform their decisions based upon that information. That's one of the reasons, perhaps the major reason, that all of you are here today, because you're all involved in determining the future of your community, the future of your city or town, the future of the Commonwealth. And if you come here, it means that you'd like some of those decisions to actually be based on the facts, which is an amazingly radical notion. So you're all radicals. I know you know that already. You don't need me to tell you that. But that is, in our society, an amazingly radical notion. And even though there will be, fits and starts, and it'll go up and it'll go down, in the long run, I truly believe that if we make decisions about our public policies and our public expenditures based on data, they will by and large be better, they will serve more people, and the quality of life in our community will improve. So figuring out how to parse that information, how to understand it, and then how to apply it is really the mission of this day. We've typically done it once every 2 years. A generous, I hope I'm getting this right, a generous donation from the Knight Foundation through the Boston Foundation has enabled us to do the event this year as well. And I immediately began referring to day-to-day as annual. And Holly St. Clair, who, as you know, is right here and deserves a tremendous amount of credit for this day and runs our data services department at MAPC, immediately eliminated the word annual from my notes because she said, well, we need the money. So, if we don't get the money, we have to do once every 2 years. But our hope is, if we can, to make this more of an annual event. So I've spoken a little bit about the Boston Foundation, our partnership with them, and the Indicators Project. But really, for the last, how many years, Charlotte, at Indicators? For the last 15 years, the driving force and the public face behind the Indicators Project has been my dear friend and our colleague, Charlotte Kahn. And I'd like to ask Charlotte to join me up here if she could. So this is the first time that I have presented a career, sometimes people say lifetime, but we say career, and I want to explain why in a minute, a Career Achievement Award to an individual whom I consider to be a contemporary of mine, and that is a frightening experience. I met Charlotte for the first time in the community room of St. Patrick's Church in Roxbury. I do not remember the exact year, but I believe 84, okay, 1984. She remembers the meeting. She doesn't remember meeting me, I'm sure, but it was 1984. I was working, I think, for the city of Boston at that point in time, so I was the enemy. I was the man. Whatever the meeting was about, I'm sure I was the man. But I was there because I wasn't really comfortable with that appellation, so I, of course, went to the community meetings as often as I could. I do not remember what it was about, but I remember Charlotte. And since that time, I have been blessed, truly blessed, as an individual, not just as a leader of MAPC, but as an individual, to be her colleague, her co-worker, and her co-conspirator on so many activities, which I think have made the city particularly, and also the region and the Commonwealth, a better place, particularly a better place for people of low income or people who in other ways struggle to make the day work on a daily basis. Charlotte has used her dedication to indicators and to data as a tool to improve people's lives. For her, it's never been about the numbers or the pictures or the charts or the graphs. It's always been about how we can use the information to make better public policies and to make better lives for people. And in doing that, one of the side benefits of all of this work has been two, I would mention: to inculcate the interest in and appreciation of data in so many opinion leaders around the Commonwealth, to make them think twice about that statement, oh, let's look at the numbers first. And also to train so many people who have come up in the field, learned about this work, become dedicated and devoted to it, and learn Charlotte's quiet but forceful techniques for getting people with more power than we have to listen to those numbers and adjust their perspectives as a result of that. She has given tremendous guidance to Holly, to our staff at Data Services, and to me. She was also, I might note, on the selection committee when I became director of MAPC, and that has earned her the right to lecture me on innumerable occasions since that time. And occasionally I've been less than eager to accept her advice, but usually when I've gone home and I've rested for a while and I've had a chance to think about what she's had to say, I've recognized that it was a better course of action than the one that I may have initially chosen to go through. So it is truly my honor and my personal pleasure today to present this Career Achievement Award. And it is a Career Achievement Award because even though this phase of Charlotte's career may be at an end as director of the Indicators Project at TPF, we know there are going to be numerous, some completely untold accomplishments that she will be bringing to the Commonwealth and to the city still, now that she has more free time to do so. So, let me present this to Charlotte.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This isn't really a surprise. I didn't come here thinking that this would happen at all. And I'm so pleased to see all of you here today. For me, it's just so gratifying that something that Holly and I have been doing for our fifth day-to-day has filled the room, as Mark said. One of the things that we've been writing about in our indicators report for many years now, because we completed our 6th most recently, is the issue of a generational shift and the importance of new leadership. So I realized a while ago that I was the oldest person at the Boston Foundation, save one person, and realized that it was time for me to peel myself off and let new leadership emerge. And I just want to say that I am so proud of the staff that I'm leaving. So Jessica and say, could you just stand, please? And Holly St. Clair at MAPC. I mean, these are my closest colleagues. And I just am so proud of them and so confident that everything that I care about is in good hands and will be moving forward so well. And to those of you with whom I've worked for many, many years, I see Mary Knassis and a number of people who are there really at the beginning of the Indicators Project. Thank you for your contributions and your support. Oh, goodness. I can get discouraged about whether people are really using the data to make change, to drive policy. Lately, I have to admit, I have been discouraged. So it was very heartwarming for me to hear what Mark said about policymakers. He really is a policymaker in the best sense, first as a politician, now as head of the Metropolitan Area Planning Council. And we all just need to work harder to make sure that the policies that are developed and executed really do reflect the truth and the facts, because it's so easy for people to cherry pick what they want and use it for ideological purposes and partisan purposes, which is where we are in this country. So it's up to all of us and all of you, now that I'm peeling myself off, little overactive gardening. Be careful, those of you nearing retirement. It's up to all of us to really double down on helping people understand the importance of not just data, but the truth. So good luck. This country is sort of teetering, and this work is really important. Thank you for doing it. Thank you very much for this award.
You have to stay up here. There's one more thing for you. Okay?
Thank you.
And then we're going to, I'm going to introduce Ted, and then we're going to go over there and take a picture. Okay? Thank you very much, Charlotte. So I'm going to actually ask the panel to assemble. I believe I've been told that Charlotte and I have to take a photo. So Ted McEnroe, the Director of Public Relations at TBF, is going to lead a panel through a very exciting discussion about the 68 Blocks project, which I know many of you are familiar with, which I think is one of the best connections between data and journalism that I've seen in a long time. And so I'm going to ask Ted and his panelists to come up here while we go down and do our photo shoot. Thank you all very much, and have a good day.